Ghana, Ghana has a huge accommodation and housing issue that we need to talk about. Everybody wants to live in Accra. And so a lot of people in Ghana have moved to Accra. As a result, Accra is highly populated. If you look at the population density of Accra, it's the highest in Ghana. Now, Accra is also like the smallest region in Ghana. And as a result, the cost of land in Accra is so high, driven by increased demand. Now, the demand is not just by people who live in Ghana, work in Ghana. There's also demand from people who live in the diaspora, building in Ghana, want to build in Ghana. And then there's even demand from people who are not Ghanaians but have heard about the beauty of Ghana and want to come to Ghana. And these people also want to build in Accra. And that is why we are experiencing what we are experiencing currently in Accra. And in this video, we are looking at how to help you find places in Accra where the land is affordable, where the land is cheap, and you don't have to pay an arm and a leg to get it. Now, when it comes to buying land in Ghana, there are certain places which are considered prime areas. Now, I know the argument would be that land in Ghana or Accra is overpriced, yes, especially in the prime areas like cantonments, Laboni, Jowulu, East Legon. Those are the places that people tend to think about a lot. Those places are quoted in USD for some strange and funny reason. However, I am going to tell you three places in Ghana or Accra today which is relatively affordable and nobody knows about it. Now, I'm a bit scared because I'm scared that when I tell you these things, if anybody has lands in those areas, they'll start increasing the prices. And so, first of all, let's look at places like Kwabenya. Today, land around Kwabenya, Shoman Estate is selling generally around 500,000 CDs, 600,000 CDs, or even more. But do you know that there's a place called Odumase, literally on the other side of the Pokwase interchange? So Kwabenya, on this interchange that you are seeing on your screen, Kwabenya is on the right-hand side, and Odumase is on the left-hand side. So in terms of distance, they are literally the same distance apart from the interchange. But Kwabenya is selling for 500 to 600,000. Guess how much Odumase is selling for? You can get a plot of land, 100 by 70, selling for about 220,000 to 300,000, depending on how close it is to the road. And I have a number of colleagues, like 10 colleagues, who purchased land at Odumase maybe 3 to 4 years ago. And at that time, one plot of land was selling for like 20,000 CDs. And in just such a very short period, the cost of land at Odumase has increased by about 10%. Now, what tends to happen is when the land is cheap in an area and somebody comes to buy it and the person builds a very nice edifice over there, and more people move into the area and build nice, houses and apartments or schools, universities, etc., then it gives value to the place and increases the price of the land in that area. Last week, for example, I went to visit my friend Ishmael Lamte at Adeso, and Adeso is in the eastern region, like between eastern and central region. Now, he purchased a plot of land, right, within that area called Ashifla. And at that time, he purchased one plot for 10,000 CDs. When he did the video on YouTube, a lot of people started getting interest in the place. The value of land started increasing. Recently, he purchased 5 plots of land to construct a washing bay at the place. Now, the washing bay he's constructed is so beautiful, so amazing. And because of his washing bay, now the owner of the place is selling a plot of land for 80,000 to 100,000. in the space of just like 2 months after the washing bay was constructed, because the presence of the washing bay is attracting more people to want to come and buy land in those areas. People want to come and buy land they use for fuel stations and stuff like that. So the point is, today, if the land is affordable, buy it and buy a lot and hold. In real estate, you don't wait for a location to become beautiful before you buy. You rather buy and wait. So the first place I'm giving you is Odumase. Now, when I went to Odumase and I saw the kind of properties that they are building there, this place is going to become like the next East Legon. Like, the houses are that nice. The architecture of the houses, amazing. And most of the road networks are really solid. Coal tar road. Places are even asphalted, but nobody knows about it. And the shocking thing is the same distance from Kwabenya to the Pokwase Highway. So please consider that. Now, the next place that I would want us to consider is a place called Oyibi. Oyibi is located, if you are on the Adenta Dodowa Highway, it's within that enclave, and there's a huge university over there called Valley View University. So what you are seeing in your shots currently is the layout of the place. And we went to look at land that somebody was selling over there at Oyibi. And you can see it is a really well-populated area, but then there are some parcels of land where you see the greenery, which is available for sale. And then there's also a side of it which is a bit hilly. So most of the land over there is low-lying, very good for farming, very good for, putting up your building projects without stress. But as the camera pans to the right, you are going to start seeing the hilly part of the area, and that side is generally available for sale. A few months ago, like at the start of the year, land at Oyibi, so this is the hilly part I was talking about, land at Oyibi at the start of the year was selling for about 120,000 cedis. What happened was that there's an expansion of a road project currently ongoing on the Adenta Dodowa Road, right? And as a result of that road expansion, land prices at Oyibi have increased significantly from 120 to about 300,000, 350. Some are even selling their land for about 400,000, because once the road is completed, it's going to become a major town. And that road connects. So if you are in Accra, you can move straight to places like Dodowa. And from Dodowa, you can hit like places like the Volta region. You can get to Akosombo. You can get to Aflao. You can get to so many places. So Dodowa is a very important town. And once that road is being constructed, it means a lot. And if you are coming from the eastern region, Ebri, etc., instead of going to use the motorway side, you can just go through Oyibi to Dodowa and then access other places. And then the Volta region also shares a border. So it's going to become a very important area. And that's why the price of land at Oyibi has so greatly increased. Then the next place that I would want us to consider is Ebri. Now, I have a friend who lives at Ebri, and when you look at the drone shots in your view currently, you can tell that Ebri is a bit of an old town, right? It's an old town. So if you look at it, you see that most of the roofing sheets and stuff like that are very old, and the houses, the design of the houses are very old. A lot of people considered Ebri like very far away because technically it is in the eastern region. But when you look at it practically now, it is such a short distance away from places like Adenta. You can drive from Ebri to Adenta in 15 to 20 minutes. And so today it is not so far. Now, with Ebri, what happened was that one of the former presidents of Ghana moved to live at a place called Peduase and increased the value of the land drastically. just by building a huge mansion over there. Lots of people built huge estates over there, really nice looking ones. And then there's also a place called Peduase Lodge, where lots of government officials and departments and ministries come for their meetings, getaways, and even corporate institutions move to that side. Then there's also Peduase Resort Hotel, which is also a very beautiful place. And so the value of that place just increased. Of course, there's also the Ebri Gardens, there's Ebri Girls, and a lot of history in Ebri. And so what is happening right now is that the land over there, which used to be so cheap, I remember my brother mentioned that he has acres of land at Ebri and he bought them cheap. In those days, you could get land for like 2,000 cedis and the rest. Now, Ebri has also started selling in dollars, but then that is the side which is closer to like the hotels and schools and things that I mentioned. When you move a bit uphill, right? So let's look at the drone footage again, and you are going to see where I'm talking about. When you look at that side, there's portions which is still relatively uninhabited with forest areas, bushes, and stuff like that. It's going to come on your shot very soon, which people are, clamoring for. And today, the land in those areas are going for 65,000 cedis, 70,000 cedis. So this area that you are seeing on your shot, right? You can see that there's a lot of greens in that area, right? So there's a lot of untouched virgin lands in those areas. 70,000 cedis, 80,000, even 100 or 120,000 cedis. And the beautiful thing about this is the view that you get at Ebri. Ebri is a hilly, mountainous area. And once you are there, you can see as far as Accra. On a very good day, you could clearly even see as far as the Tema Harbor area. Like, it is that high. And the view is amazing. So let me read some of the comments. Johnson Otindate says, I got a half plot in OEB for 30,000 cedis in 2019. Now it's over 100,000 plus. So his half plot is selling for over 100,000. So if you convert that, which means the full plot is selling for over 200,000 cedis. Meanwhile, in 2019, the full plot would have sold for about 60,000 or even 50,000 cedis. I remember when I started working in the corporate world, there was land which was selling for 9,000 cedis at OEB. I remember clearly. And one of my colleagues said, oh, can we buy and like share one plot? So we pay half, 4,500. I said, no, I'm not interested. That place is far and all those things, Charlie. Oh, how I have regretted it, Charlie. I have regretted it so much. Because if I had bought it at 9,000 cedis, today I could have been enjoying. I could have bought like maybe 4 plots of land, considering my salary back then. I didn't. So, don't wait for a place to become good. I'm stressing it again. Don't wait for a place to become good. And no place is too far. Those days, we used to say, Ashoman Estates, when you are going there, it's like you are traveling to Kumasi. It's like a journey on its own. When we moved to Ashoman initially, when my friends are coming to visit me, like from SHS, and they say, hey, Charlie, your house is far. Oh. Today, you will not get land to buy at Ashoman Estates. And it's the same with places like Ebri, Pram, Dodowa and stuff. It may look far today, but if any serious government comes to power and decides to improve on the train network in Ghana, every place is going to become pretty short. Yesterday, I traveled to Kumasi, and when I was traveling, I used the Insawam Suhum Road. The state of the road currently is terrible. In fact, last week when I went to visit my friend Ishmael and I was coming back, I used the same road. There were some passengers that I picked up, and I was even asking them, are people living in this area? Because the place is like it has been forgotten entirely by government. And they said, yes, they even live in this area and they struggle. They need to leave home like 5 a.m. If you haven't left by 5, just forget about it, because the kind of traffic that you are going to stay in, you can't cope. So they have to leave home by 5 and they get home around 10 p.m. And so today, nobody wants to buy land in those areas. But when the highway is completed, it means that you could literally move from Accra, like Tudu, those places, and get to Nsawam in the space of 30 to 40 minutes. Today, it's taking them about 3 hours. Now, imagine that a serious president or government comes into power and they establish proper working railways. You could move from Nsawam to Accra in 15 minutes. I remember those days when we were young and the trains were working. We take a trotro, which is public transportation, to a place called Dome. And from Dome, there's a train that goes to Accra Central. In 15 minutes, we were there. Meanwhile, those who would be driving would take like 2 hours. And that is one of the issues that I see in Ghana, that many of our leaders have failed us. They are just not serious. Traveling in the villages and things that I passed through on my way to Kumasi, you realize that Accra is even overpriced and overrated, because many places in Accra have very terrible roads, whereas the villages that we don't respect and we don't want to buy the lands at have paved, asphalted roads. I drove from Nsawam to Ebri also, and there's this scenic, mountainous road that you can use. It's just beautiful. First class road, no potholes. But in Accra, I'm always changing shocks and doing repairs and maintenance to my car because the roads are terrible. Meanwhile, you are paying a premium for it. Let me read some of the comments and then we continue. FYT says, what about Chopoli? Yeah, so Chopoli is also within those enclaves that I spoke about. So when you are moving on the Community 25, Pram areas, right? Chopoli is within that side. I think it is good. Today, the challenge that we have in those areas is that the traffic is crazy. So it's the same thing that's happening at Nsawam, where it is taking people 3 hours to get to work. It's the same thing that's happening on the Community 25 road. But when you observe the nature of developments going on in the eastern and the western side of Accra, the places Community 25, Dawenya, Pram, Chopoli, etc. are getting a faster rate of development, more quality houses, more quality class of people living in those areas than the other side. So we have the side which is the Pokwase, the Kwabenya. Then we have the side which is the Wager going to Kaswa areas. Then we have the other side which is the Dawenya Community 25 areas. Those sites are good. The houses there. I went to look at some plots of land I have at Pram. And I was amazed by the kind of houses that people are building there. In fact, when you look at the houses, you can tell that, the person building this house does not live in Ghana. There's somebody who probably lives in the UK, etc. Because the quality and the kind of houses they are building there, very soon, it's going to become the next hot cake. Now, there's also plans to have an airport in those areas. It may take time, but eventually, if it comes to pass, it means that the value of the land is significantly going to increase. Today, they are selling a plot of land for about 60 to 100,000 cedis in those areas. Don't wait. In 3 years, 4 years' time, could go as high as 500,000 cedis, because the people, like I told you, when properties come to a place, even if it is a village, the kind of properties there increase the value of the place, and then the chiefs and people who sell lands tend to increase the prices as nicer properties come up. And Chopoli is a good place to consider. All right. Oscar Sapondako says, are you doing places in Accra, or you also consider places around Kumasi like Konongo and Ejiso? Also for mountainous areas, places like Samsam is also a place to consider. Oh, so I'm not just doing Accra. I've spoken about Ebri, and then I've spoken also about some of the villages, etc. I've spoken about Nsawam. I've spoken about other places, right? And the video that we did on Instagram, I spoke about Ejiso, and I think right now, Ejiso, Konongo areas are key places that people need to start moving to. Now, why do I say so? The reason why I say so is this year I've been to Kumasi like 3 times. I've gone with a flight 2 times, and I've driven on road yesterday. Now, Kumasi is getting an international airport. What does that mean? It means that when people are coming to Ghana, now they have 2 airports they can arrive at. You can arrive at Kotoka International Airport in Accra, or you can arrive at the Kumasi International Airport. And so for people who are moving to the northern Ghana, Kumasi, Sunyani, Tamale, etc., they no longer need to come and stop in Accra. Formerly, it was compulsory that everybody comes to Kotoka before they travel. But now it's not going to be so. People coming from the north, etc., will just go to Kumasi and fly. And people who are coming to Ghana have choices. Like, if I want to live at a place which is close to the airport, where if there is any confusion or chaos, I can easily move out, I can also choose Kumasi. And Kumasi is bigger than Accra. Accra is like the smallest region. Correct me if I'm wrong. Accra is like the smallest region in Ghana. Kumasi is huge, multiple times the size of Accra, with lots of areas, still forest land, virgin land. And the price of land in Kumasi is very cheap. So places like Ejiso, which is like 30 minutes away from the Kumasi International Airport, is selling from like 150,000 cedis to 300,000. In fact, when I did the video on Instagram and TikTok, people were begging me that we shouldn't come to Ejiso. The way we spoil Accra, they don't want us to come to Kumasi and come and spoil the prices of land there. So they have bought their, like the locals have bought their land. So they were telling me, please delete this video, else a lot of pressure is going to come to those areas. And I think that it's good if people move away from Accra. Let's decentralize. Accra is overpopulated, it's overpriced, and it's overrated. Kumasi, cost of living is generally cheaper. In fact, yesterday, when I was coming back, I purchased banana, right? And when I stopped by the roadside, the people brought the bunch of banana. Is that what it's called? Like, there were like 5 different layers. So like when you cut the banana from the banana tree, the whole stick with all the bunch on it, which would be like maybe 50 pieces or 50 fingers of banana in that bunch. Can you guess how much it was sold at? Let me give you context. In Accra, you can buy 10 fingers of banana for 30 Ghana cedis. I got 50 fingers of banana for 20 Ghana cedis. In Accra, 10 for 30. In Kumasi, 50 for 20 cedis. Can you imagine? At a point, I wanted to even just buy more and come and sell it in Accra because I would have made such a huge profit. You know, Kumasi has areas of farming and all that. You don't hear some of the violent crimes that happen in Accra happening in Kumasi, where Accra, there's daylight robbery and stuff like that. Kumasi has crime, right? But it's not at that level. What is currently affecting Kumasi that if you want to buy land at Kumasi, you need to be aware of? Number 1 is Galamsey. So on my journey to Kumasi yesterday, I saw 3 different rivers, and all the rivers were deeply polluted. The color had changed from blue to brown, like a metallic brownish yellow color. And in fact, there was so much traffic at a place called Enyinem that Google Map told me to go and pass a different route. Now, when I went past there, I realized I have entered a Galamsey community. Okay, so if you are watching and you don't know what Galamsey is illegal small-scale mining, where people are destroying cocoa farms, they are destroying forests just to dig for gold. And the scale at which it has gone to is that they are even doing it on the water bodies, right? They are doing it on the water body. So the whole water body has been muddied and murked, and it's so yellowish brown. And it's not coming back to its default color. It's terrible. So when I realized I was in this mining community, I wanted to like pause and take videos, but I felt it was dangerous because some of the people who do this galamsey have guns, they are heavily armed and stuff. And I was driving on this road, and you won't believe it, the road was better than the roads in Accra. So it means that somebody is like funding these communities to support the galamsey businesses that they are doing. And you could see vast lands that they've destroyed and cleared, and they've finished the galamsey and they've moved to other places. And there was a point where I reached and the people were actually on site digging. And I thought there's a ban on galamsey, but it's still happening. 3 different rivers I passed, 2 of them, like they had almost dried up. One of them was still flowing, but it was brownish yellow. So number one issue you are going to have in Kumasi. Now, why is this important? It's important because that water, which is brownish yellow, is the one that is feeding the crops that are going to be sold on the market. Unfortunately, those same crops are also coming to Accra. So in fact, when I bought the banana, I was so scared. I was thinking, hey, this banana is nurtured by galamsey water and there's mercury and stuff. But I said, well, even if I'm buying it in Accra, nobody grows banana in Accra. So it's probably the same thing I've been eating. So let me just buy it and eat. What can I do? So that's one thing you are going to face. If you buy your land and it is at a site where people think there is gold, they don't mind coming to attack you to break down your house or ask you to sell your land to them so that they mine gold on it. It's happening to lots of people. There are lots of videos on the internet that you can watch. Then the second thing that I observed in Kumasi is the way that there is an ongoing invasion of Chinese. Not to sound racist or anything, but I reached a part of Kumasi where you will think you are in China. All the signboards are in Chinese. The shops are in Chinese. Every label, every street sign, everything, billboards are in Chinese. You won't believe it. And so most of these Chinese are also here because of galamsey and other forms of businesses, right? Illegal mining and stuff like that. So there is that going on, and it's creating a bit of like boiling movements under the surface. The natives are angry because some of them are even doing the local businesses that they do. So if somebody is even selling fufu or banku or rice, a Chinese person will also come and set up and be selling fufu and banku and rice. You won't believe it. So there are small tensions in small areas that if you are not careful could escalate into big things one day. So that's something that you need to consider. Apart from that, I think Kumasi is a generally great place to buy land, especially Ejiso, Bokrom, Konongo areas. Places like Doom and Asafo and things like that are really pricey and expensive as it is today. But the places I mentioned, top. All right. Ibrahim says, what about Tripoli? So it looks like a lot of people are interested in Tripoli. And again, comment the places that you think are hot cake that nobody is talking about. Comment below, whether you are watching the live or the replay. Mike B says, I bought 6 plots of land in 2021 at Asin Fosu for 30,000 Ghana cedis. And now the same area, 1 plot is going for 20,000. So it means that in 2021, 1 plot was 5,000 cedis. Now it has gone up times 4 in the space of 3 years. Which investment will you do, which is pay you more than 100% profit or returns in a year? Buying land is really good. L.H. Saki says, what about North Kaneshie? North Kaneshie is a very populated area. Prime location. Market over there, industrial area close to it. It's also an access route to the western part of Ghana, like central region. You can pass through North Kaneshie and be on your way to Wager, Kaswa, etc. Like it's centrally located, and I think it's a great place. What you would face though is a lot of pollution, noise pollution, sound pollution, because of the markets, the industries, the cars, the traffic, and then also pollution, like general pollution. There's a lot of smoke and smog in the area. Afrijam says, good evening. I'm watching from Accra. Botiano Hills near West Hills Mall, Nikamati. Thank you for contributing. Ima and says Gomoafete. Yeah, Gomoafete. Those places, like generally, places outside Greater Accra region are good places that you should invest in. Volta region is another hot cake that nobody is talking about. Ho is a really nice place. Really, really nice place with hill views. Me, I like hill views. Though building on a hill is expensive, but you get nice views of the hill. It's relatively quiet. They are nice, loving people. And there's a lot of history and culture. And then Volta region, places like Aflao, they're on the border. So people actually travel all the way from Accra and other regions to go to Aflao, because buying things at Aflao is cheaper than the equivalent in Ghana, like spare parts for cars, relatively cheaper at the border because it shares a border with Togo. Clothes, food, so many things are cheaper over there than in Accra. So people even go and buy cars from Togo and pass through the border and come. So it's a really significant region with significant rivers, the Volta River and all these things. So really, really great place. And the land is also cheap. I have a friend who purchased land for, I think, 30,000 cedis, close to the whole stadium. Imagine you are buying land in Accra, close to the stadium, which is Osu. That land will be sold to you for $1 million. In fact, at Circle, there's an old haunted house, which is broken into. Some parts are broken, like you can't live there. And when I'm passing by, I see for sale, I call, and guess how much they told me? It's just like a 60 by 80 plot of land. They said they're selling for $900,000. Are you serious? In Ho, land next to the hotel is selling for 30,000 cedis. The Gentle Ghost says, what about Brekusu? Oh, Brekusu is another great place. So let's talk about Brekusu. I recently went to look at land for sale at Brekusu, and Brekusu is pretty close to Kwabenya. So what you are seeing on the screen right now, right, the hill over there, when you move beyond that hill, you are getting to Brekusu. Now, Brekusu has become very important recently because of the establishment of a university called Ashesi University, which is one of the best universities in Ghana. Now, hitherto, before Ashesi University, the road was terrible. But you could use that side from Ashoman, Kwabenya to get to Ebri, and we've already spoken about how important Ebri is. But the road was bad. But when Ashesi University came over there, because they had to be busing their students, formerly they were at Laboni, which is a prime area, they put resources together and cleared the road a bit. It's not tarred, but you can speed on it. It is okay. I've used it in the past few weeks, like 4 times. And from Kwabenya to Ebri using the Brekusu road takes me 30 minutes, and the road is not tarred. Now imagine if this road is tarred. It means it's going to take you 15 minutes. So when people are coming from Kumasi and the northern part of Ghana and they are driving, right, instead of going all the way to in Sawam, Pokwase, Achimota, then hitting the N1, then coming down to Medina, Adenta, and going to Ebri, they just do the bypass, go through Ebri or Kwabenya or wherever, and they are there. So there are important places which are going to link many, many businesses. They are going to link many, many important towns, and one of such is Brekusu. Today, there's a plot of land that's going for about 120,000 cedis, close to the Ashesi University. It is land that I am going to buy. And there's also plots of land in different areas close to Brekusu. I remember when I was first looking for land to buy in around 2016, I had this friend who sold me his uncompleted building that later I completed, right? And he took me to this same Brekusu area. And at that time, I think he was selling it for about 50,000 cedis. It was not too far from the road. But I felt, no, it was full of bushes. What if there are snakes and things there? Charlie, if you don't know better, you'll be making so many foolish mistakes. And that's why I'm doing these videos, so that we avoid those same mistakes. Today, if you get land at Brekusu, please buy. Which other areas do you think are hotcake? Comments below and let me know. All right. Aaron Ayamga says, is Botiano Hills the same as Aplaku? I am not sure. Bernard also says Damfa is another great area. A plot of land sold for 35,000 in 2019 is selling for 230,000 in 2024. So in 3 years, it has increased by almost 10 times. Charlie? What about Ablekuma? Yeah, Ablekuma is also another great area. So Ablekuma is also on the opposite side of the highway, the Pokwase highway that I was talking about. And I think it's a really, 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 really great place to buy land. So on the extreme left side of the screen is Ablekuma. And like I said, once the governments are serious and they get their act right, these places are going to develop very quickly because people need access to roads. People need access to hospitals. People need access to schools. And people need access to police stations and basic amenities. Once you decentralize and you put an Agenda 111 hospital somewhere, a factory somewhere, a school somewhere, a bank somewhere, or even a market. Markets are usually the central places where businesses are built around. Because once there's a market, there are traders who are collecting a lot of cash. Unfortunately, Ghana is still a very cash-heavy society. Once the traders are making money, usually the banks come around, right? So they have branches to help with liquidity, right? And once banks come around, people create apartments and things for the workers of the bank. Then hospitals come around, and then people need to commute to the hospital and stuff like that. So people will build houses and rent it to nurses and doctors and stuff like that. Then obviously the community is developing, a police station is needed. Once a police station is needed, churches come in because there are people there. Mosques come in, right? And that's how generally communities develop. Then people see a need, they build schools for the children of the doctors and the nurses and the bank workers and stuff like that. And people will build hotels, people will build entertainment centers. You see that the place grows. So the government has a role to play, but we all have roles to play as well. So let me read some of the comments. African Goddess says, how about Akosombo, Suhum, Ekropon, and Koforidua? I think all those places. If you get the land, obviously do your due diligence. Make sure it is legit. Apply the common sense principles we've been preaching on this channel, right? Like, start something. Don't pay full amount. Pay in installments. Do your due diligence. Talk to your neighbors. Check the history of the place. Check the plans of government for the place. Once you do all these things and it's legit, don't buy one plot to buy 10. If our parents bought like 10 plots, 20 plots of land, like some of us will not be struggling and go and pay $20,000, $30,000 and lose it like I did, right? So nowadays, when I find land and it's good, Charlie, I just invest in it. And please, do the same thing as well. Your children will thank you for it. Even if they don't live in Ghana, you see the way prices of buildings, prices of land are increasing. People are saying they bought land 30,000, but in 3 years it has increased to almost 300,000. Imagine 30 years from now. Imagine. Okay. So, Diane says, I'm looking for land in Brekusu. Okay. So, maybe when I buy my land, you can come and buy it from me. Anyways. Nam Imagery says, what about Chopoli? It looks like a lot of people have interest in this Chopoli area because you are the third person asking about Chopoli. So I think that's the most requested place right now. If a real estate agent has legit lands there, please get in touch. We'll help you to sell to all the people. Aaron says, Aplaku is also behind West Hills Mall. Okay. Bukari83 says, what about Ashalaja? Where is Ashalaja again? I know where it is, but I've forgotten. Ashalaja. It's like is it on the Amasaman in Sawam side? I should think so. FYT says, nice one, my brother. You are doing a great job. Thank you. Okay. Aaron says, be careful about Ashalaja. Boys Toy says, how about Akuse? Top place. I drove on the Akosombo Road, and Akuse is a really nice area. Really, really good. Like, if it is legit, buy it. Just buy it, right? So keep commenting the places which you think are hot cake. We have done 40 minutes. We'll be closing in the next 10 minutes. So keep your suggestions coming. It might be a blessing to somebody. Now, someone says ANC Mall is planning a mall on Oyibi Dodowa Road in Oyibi. Goodness. Then we're all finished. Because today, ANC is located at East Legon Hills, right? Hey, did I say East Legon Hills? East Legon proper. And East Legon proper, land is selling for $500,000, $700,000, $1 million. If the same ANC will go and put that same beautiful structure over there at Oyibi, hey, then let me go and buy the land that they are selling over there at $350,000, because it means that we will start looking at 500,000 cedis. Then they'll also start charging in dollars. So you see, what LE Sparkles has done is what I keep urging you guys to do. Always search for plans of government, big corporates, banks to expand to places like this. And once you have that knowledge, it becomes very, very critical to help you in your decision making. Okay. Do you know the rates for Akosombo? I asked them, Charlie, I don't know which side of Akosombo you're talking about, but somebody contacted me. I think I have the message still on Instagram, so I can find it and then show you. And he says he has about 2 or 3 acres at Akosombo. I'll be looking for the message as we continue. And he's selling one plot for, if I am not mistaken, he says he's selling one plot for about 300,000. One plot of land, though, and he says it's by the seaside. I'm looking for the message. I'll find it, and I'll read it for you. Expensive. Okay, yeah, I think I've seen it. Great. Yes, I've seen it. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to show it to you. It says, okay, all right, so it's not 300,000, please, my mistake. So I thought Akosombo was very far, right? And he sent me this video. So it says I should rotate my phone. Let me see if you guys would be able to see it. Okay, so this is the land that he's showing. And as you can see, it's by the river. You can see, right? It's by the river. And he was showing this drone shot. So this is at Akosombo that he was selling. And he says he has multiple lands in the area. So I asked him how much he was selling it for. He said one plot is $99,000. Hey, $99,000 builds a 3-bedroom house easily. You know, but again, like I said, it is the value that people place on an area which determines the cost of the area. At Akosombo, there's a place, not even at Akosombo, on the way to Akosombo, there's Bridgeview Hotel. Formerly, that place, nobody cares. Pawn area, nobody cares about it. Bridgeview came to build a magnificent edifice over there. Now the price of land has skyrocketed. Okay, so Dominic, somebody is selling land for $99,000 at Akosombo. I'm not sure that is your budget. Okay, Sapon says, I've already bought 3 plots at Ebri. Sapon, sell one to me. How much did you buy it for? Comment and let us know. H. Saki again says, what about Boko? North Kaneshie is close to the market. Why isn't that a great community? I didn't say it's not a great community. I said it's good, but I was also letting you know the challenges you would face in terms of pollution, because it's a very busy place. There are industrial areas close to it. There's Bola close to it, like a huge rubbish dump in a town very close to it. And then there's pollution from cars. Lots of cars on the Kaneshie side are very old buses. It's like literally a loading station for going to places like Akemodan and other places, right? So there's a lot of vehicular traffic and there's a lot of pollution. There's little greenery in that area. I am not somebody who likes that kind of place. And there's a lot of noise as well. But if you like that kind of place, why not? By all means, please proceed. Okay, so please, if you're enjoying this video, make sure to like and share. And if this is your first time seeing us, this is Africa Building Hub. We are creating a community of people who want to build, buy, and rent in Ghana. But we believe that whatever lessons we are sharing is applicable to any country outside of Ghana. So if you like that kind of content, please, please, please like. We currently have just 23 likes. Can we get at least 200 likes on this video? There are over 120 people who are currently watching. And I want you to comment which areas you have discovered that you believe is hot cake that nobody is talking about but has a very great price. So that's the gist of this video. Accra is overpriced, but even within Accra, there are hidden places like Odumase, which is in a very good area. The kind of houses they are building there are like the East Legon town houses all over the place. The road is good. The litigation is non-existent and the price is affordable as compared to the same distance away from the Pokwasi interchange, which is Kwabenya, which is Ashoman Estate selling for 600,000, Odumasi selling for 250,000. 3 years ago, it was selling for 20,000. So that tells you the rate of development over there. Then we said Oyibi is right now hot cake. And someone contacted us. We went to look at this land that you are seeing on your shots. A person is selling it for 350,000. He bought it at the start of the year for 180,000 cedis. Now land in that area is selling for 400,000 cedis because, as someone said, ANC is establishing a mall over there. And apart from that, the road is also being expanded on the Oyibi Dodowa Road. And then there's Ebri. It's an old community, but there's lots of land available for farming. And then there's also lots of land available for building houses. Now, Sapon says, I bought it at 70,000 per plot last year, December. The land was for my pastor. That's why I got it at that price. So, Sapon, why don't you sell me one of the plots? Why don't you sell me one of the plots? I'll be delighted to buy. Johnny says, how can I contact you? Oh, Johnny, to contact me is very easy. Our email is the abh@abhcollabs.com, and let's discuss whatever you need. Kwame Olatunji says, hi, I hope you are well and everyone is good. Yes, I'm well. And good to see you on the live. Now, let's just do a quick appreciation of the people who support us to be able to keep creating these contents for you. Doormaster is starting a promotion tomorrow, 11th November, big save promotion. You can earn up to 30% on doors, interior doors, metal doors, full metal, bulletproof, pivot doors, wooden, metallic, any kind of combination, anything you can think of. They have over 400 designs. Just contact them and tell them you're coming from Africa Building Hub to enjoy that. Let's also appreciate our partner, Colsam Plus, who sell iron rods and cement in East Legon Hill. So if you are building in that enclave, contact them. Their numbers are on the screen. Let's appreciate our partners, Alpha Merge Ventures, who deal in windows, balustrades, burglar proofs, gates, glass partitions, and more, right? And then let's also appreciate our partners, Metfab Roofing Systems. They deal in all types of roofing sheets. I'm going to read the last comments and then we get ready to close. African Goddess says, Konoru, hey, please, I don't know how to pronounce this one. Konuru is a good place, but you have to be very vigilant. I think everywhere you need to be vigilant. Even if I come, I do all my due diligence, and then I tell you this land is good, buy it. You should still do your due diligence, right? So on this channel, there are only 2 people who are selling land that we've advertised, though we get a lot of offers in our inbox that if I was a greedy person and I was just following money, I would be taking all of them and coming to advertise to you guys. But most of them can't produce the basic documentation as proof of ownership. And most of them, they don't have the legal documentation. They haven't registered their companies and things like that. We don't want to stress our community. We want to make sure that we are holding our name, our brand in very high esteem, and our integrity is not compromised. So instead of taking money and coming to tell you rubbish, I would rather make sure I don't get any money and bring you good deals. But even then, still do your due diligence. So Bello says, what are iron rod and cement prices? Okay, so today a bag of cement 42.5 hour grade is selling between 110 to 116 cedis depending on the brand. 32.5 hour grade is selling between 105 to 110 cedis depending on the brand. For iron rods, you can get it from between 9,200 cedis a ton for mild steel to about 6,600 for the 10 millimeters, but 40 millimeters, 16, 18, 20, between 9,200 to 9,600 cedis per ton for mild steel. If you're looking for high tensile, a ton is selling for about 10,000 to 12,000 Ghana cedis, depending on who is selling it and the size. Comment and let me know how much you purchased yours recently. And with this, I want to say a very big thank you to everybody who has been a part of this life. Stay blessed.